Glasses on. Glasses.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the This on Glasses podcast. You know how we do it, we take out and clean out all grey areas. So today we are going to have an amazing conversation. We're going to go straight into this conversation and we're going to be talking about leadership today. But then before we go, I'd like to introduce my guest for today. It's such an honor to have you in the studio, to have you to do this. The way it happened, he came in, it just happened. I just chatted him up and he was like, he's in town. I'm like, okay. So it's going to be nice to have you. Let me introduce our guest. So they're going to be having Mr. Job David Ayuba. Nice to have you here, sir.
It's a pleasure.
It's been a long time coming. We've known for a few years, I think 2 years now or so. And it's been an amazing time. You know, every time we get to talk, I'm inspired by some of the things you say. And I believe that it's only proper for us to do this and, you know, create an avenue, a platform where people who have this wealth of knowledge can be able to share with the population and share with the people of the world and give out these gifts so that people can be able to grow in their respective endeavors.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Ayuba is a leadership specialist. He has organized and is organizing trainings in various organizations. I think you guys had an event yesterday.
Yes, we did.
So tell us about it. How was it? How did
I wish you asked me this question before the event, so that it form part of our marketing. But the event has happened. Well, interestingly, the event we had yesterday was on investment strategies.
Okay.
We called it Securing Your Future, Investment Strategies for 2024 and Beyond. You know, usually people start the year with New Year resolutions, you know, in the previous years, in the past. But this year, a lot of people were a bit scared because there's so much uncertainty, you know, across the world. So I always have a philosophy of learning from people who are ahead of us.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 30-something years old, and I've probably seen 30-something rainy seasons and dry seasons. But a 70-year-old has seen 70 rainy seasons and 70 dry seasons. So he has more experience on rainy seasons and dry seasons than me, unless I'm a geologist or something. So we thought it would be great to bring somebody who has been in the investment field to come and share his experiences with us on what to look out for, because usually every year has an outlook. You know, what sectors will do well, what sectors will not do well, you know, what the GDP will look like, what inflation will look like, will it rise, will it drop, you know. And so we hosted Mr. Ezekiel Gomez for a breakfast meeting, and that breakfast meeting led to this particular training that we had yesterday. And so we also had Sim Shagaya, and then one Mr. Cletus Dagor, who is the MD of PIPC Securities here in Jos. It was a fantastic session.
Okay, that's nice.
Yes.
So moving forward, we'd like to really talk about our topic and like dive into the conversation for the major reason why we're here. Leadership. I think it's for every organization group of people to strive. I think there should be a structured way of how the leadership operations of any organization, a country, whatever it is, to strive and move forward, move from point A to point B. And I'd like to know, okay, using our country, Nigeria, as, you know, like, because we live here, we kind of understand how how we operate. We understand the kind of issues that we have here, and it is peculiar to us, only us, because Nigeria is a totally different country from any other country. How are we getting it wrong? Why is it? Why do we have a? Because I believe that we have a deficit in leaders and people that should occupy certain positions. How are we here? In your own opinion?
I don't think so. So you see, there's nothing wrong with Nigeria.
Yeah.
I always tell people that Nigeria is designed to be the way it is right now by a group of people. The Nigeria that we live in today is the dream come true of a certain group of people. This is how they want it to be. So if you don't want it to be like this, then you also have to imagine and dream the Nigeria that you want. But there's nothing wrong with Nigeria. Whether it's insecurity, somebody is benefiting from it. And that person knows that without insecurity, they will not benefit from the country. Whether it's economic problems, people are benefiting from it. You and I can complain about the Naira.
Exchange rate.
The exchange rate, that the Naira is 1,400 and something as of today to a dollar. But somebody is benefiting from it. Somebody has made a lot of money from it. And some people are actually buying more dollars to keep, hoping that the Naira will continue to fall. So it's designed. They know what to do to make that happen, and they do it to make it happen. See, leadership has a role to play in all of this. But the topic of leadership is a very interesting topic because people have written books, thousands of books on leadership. Leadership has been complicated, but leadership is very simple. The job of a leader is to move people from point A to point B. Very simple. I think I need a tissue. Sorry, I have a cold. Is to move people from point A to point B, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the people move from point A to point B is not the concern of the leader.
Okay.
Yes. How the people move from point A to point B is not the concern of the leader. Now, in our case, and this is what makes it complex, we are in a democracy. So the people elect a leader. And the people can only elect somebody who reflects what they stand for. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
It's like what they say, you cannot have a gang of thieves elect an upright policeman as their leader. They will look for one from amongst them that represent what they stand for. Right? So that's what makes it complex. So the majority of the people that elect our leaders do not desire the things that you and I desire, the good governance that we are looking for. These people are in places where they don't care about good roads. It's not a priority for them. Power is not a priority for them. A lot of things are not priorities for them. They are not interested in inflation. They are not interested in foreign exchange. They are not interested in all of these things because they probably don't consume some of the things that you and I consume. They don't drive the kind of cars that you and I aspire to buy. They don't dream to own the kind of homes that you and I aspire to own. So these are the people that elect our leaders. Let me give you one simple example. Ekiti State has the largest number of professors in Nigeria. But the vote of a professor and the vote of an almajiri are the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you go to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
So if 5 professors vote for you, for this person, and 100 almajiris or 7 almajiris vote for the other person wins.
One.
So can you see that the leaders, the quality of people that decide who lead us is like this? And their vote counts as much as your vote counts, regardless of your opinion, regardless of your exposure, regardless of your education. So you are seeing one challenge of leadership.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I said how the people move from point A to point B is not the concern of the leader is because I am a Christian, right? And I like to look at leadership examples from the scriptures. Take, for example, somebody like Moses. Moses was given a vision. He was given a mission. He did not come up with the idea to move the people, the children of God, from Egypt to the promised land. That task was given to him. Yes. So for you to lead, the task is supposed to be given to you to lead, not by the followers. It is not the followers that will give you the task. There's supposed to be a higher authority that should give you that task to say, move my people from point A to point B. Whether they cry, moving from point A to point B, it's not your concern. Whether they're excited to move from point A to point B, it's not your concern. Your job is to move the people from point A to point B.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it this way before. Now, we have people who just assume that I say they assume because you see everybody. Okay, we just had elections. We just had elections, and there are people who, okay, for instance, now in Plateau State, we had elections. We had election cases where this political party, that political party, I think almost for like 8 or 9 states had cases with the Supreme Court and all of that. And you see all these political aspirants and all of these politicians saying that they believe that they are the ones who have the mandate. Where do they get this notion from that, okay, it is me? Because if you leave it to chance, everybody believes that, okay, it's supposed to be me to go there. It's supposed to, nobody's going to tell you that, okay, it's your time to become leader. Or where do they get this notion of, okay, I think I'm the best person for the job? How do they get to feel or think that way?
I mean, mostly personal ambitions. It's just personal ambition. For example, if a group of people come to me or they see that they will benefit by me being in this position or me becoming the governor of Plateau State, they will bring themselves together, come and encourage me. We've seen, it happens now all the time. Yeah. Prophets will come to encourage you once they just have a feeling that, oh, you have a chance of making it. They will come, they will convince you. They will tell you all stories that God told them to tell you that you are the next governor of Plateau State. So you will find 4, 5, 10 people saying God
told them,
chose them to be the governor of Plateau State. But at the end of the day, only one of them becomes the governor. So what happened? Where did they get their information from? Because politics is largely driven by vested interest. Largely driven by vested interest. It is not an issue of the older generation is ruining Nigeria. No. It's everybody who has an interest. If I know that I'm going to make money printing face caps for the Tinubu campaign, wouldn't I say Tinubu is
Right man for the
is
job.
the right man for the job? Because I don't know Peter Obi or I don't know Atiku Abubakar, but I know Tinubu. If I'm going to get the job to facilitate logistics for the Obi camp or the Atiku camp campaign, right? Won't I push for those candidates? I will push for those candidates. Why? Because of my vested interest in those people. These people are my path to becoming successful, to making money, to getting that promotion, that elevation in society. And so I'm going to push these people as the right candidates. So that's what is happening. Everybody is pushing for their candidates, for the people that they know they can benefit from. So it's not a case of you have been chosen by God. And in democracy, even though they will tell you that the voice of the people is the voice of God, the voice of the people is not the voice of God.
Yeah.
It is the voice of the people of God that is the voice of God. So they say, oh, he's been elected. That is the voice of God. If the people have chosen him, or the people choose wrongly. In leadership, followers lack imagination. They don't have imagination. That's why there's always a leader. That's why a leader always imagines to provide that direction, that imagination for everybody to follow. Followers always lack imagination.
And vision too.
Yes. Always.
You know, the governance is about to begin, because I feel a lot of people don't know where to draw the line between politics and governance. Politics people do a lot of things, sell propaganda, create public image. Now, there's this whole using Plateau State for instance now as a case study. Now, there's this whole round that is making all over the place where you hear you hear supporters of a certain political party, for instance now supporters of PDP, you understand, they make statements and utterances like okay, people who support APC are there because they have political interest, they are close to Nentawe, they are close to this person, and they believe that if this person becomes the leader, they are going to benefit from this particular candidate. You know, and I don't know if you've seen some of those statements online. I don't know if you've seen any of them.
That's why I said politics is about interest. Politics is about personal interest. It's not even about the interest of the state as a whole.
Yeah.
It's about personal interest. It's about how do I move from being just a campaign director to a commissioner to, a special advisor to this governor. It's about personal interest. Where things happen for the people, where the people of a particular state benefit, is governance. And governance is the result. Very simple. Go to Bukuru. Governance is how can we clean Bukuru? What does it take to make that street clean? Amodu Belowe. Governance. Copied into Plateau State. The roads. Governance. I mean, we travel.
Yeah.
Is it rocket science to fix the roads?
It looks like it's rocket science in Nigeria.
But because everybody, like you said, just stays in that political mode for the 4 years, for the 8 years. When you become governor, you start thinking of how to become a senator or how to become a president. You are not thinking about how to meet the needs of your people, to provide the things that the institution of government should provide. Politics is a vehicle. Politics is a vehicle. The main thing is governance. And there are different ways to get to that point where you can deliver governance. Politics is one way. Appointment is another way. I don't have to run for office But if I know somebody who ran for office and wins that position, the person can come to me, even without supporting the person publicly. The person can remember and say, oh, there's this guy that has fantastic ideas on how to make Plateau State the cleanest states, one of the cleanest places in Africa. Go and bring that person for me. And he appoints you to do the job. You see, now again, you are now on that platform of governance. You can deliver governance. The third way to get to that position where you can deliver governance is basic civil service, just employment. There are people that start out from level 7 and they end up as directors. They head organizations, ministries, departments, agencies. They are also part of it. So it's not just the politicians. In some cases, it's these civil servants that teach the politicians how to even be corrupt. Because they are there and they've lived through different governors. Yes. So it's not just about politicians. Politics is one vehicle. Appointment is another vehicle. The civil service is another vehicle.
Okay, so now moving forward, I think I've noticed in our standards of how we've run our leadership, the people we elect as leaders from independence, and it's more like the standard keeps dropping. We keep coming from the Samadu Bellos to where we are today. We have those great men who fought for the independence of this country and to where we are. And if you notice, we still have that flow, even in what the kind of expectations we have from our current leaders. I think there's a decline. You have a governor who who part of his manifesto is saying that he paid salaries in the first tenure, so he deserves a second tenure. Is that something we should be proud of as a people, where you pay somebody works for you, you pay the person what you owe them, you owe it to them to pay them. So if I have staff, there are people that work for me and I pay them at the end of the month. Am I supposed to now start making it look like, I've done so well, I paid you? Do you know what it took to pay you? Do you understand? That's where we are now, and it's a decline and it keeps falling. With every new regime, with every new government, we keep having this decline of leaders. How do we handle this kind of situation? Again,
Because you see, the expectations have dropped, partly because working in the civil service is mostly seen as a favor done to people. This thing of quota systems that we have in the country. A lot of people get jobs to work with government or work for government, not because they are qualified to do those jobs, right? But because they are entitled to those jobs. Because a certain number of jobs is supposed to be given to this local government or to this politician. So once they give a politician 5 slots or 10 slots and he gives 10 people those 10 slots, they don't see that as a privilege for them to contribute to development. They see it as a reward for them, maybe for being loyal to that particular politician, right? So that has also affected governance, because work or working for government is not really tied to results, to output. It's not really tied to output. So if you look at the Ministry of Health, what is the output? What is the result that this ministry gives on a quarterly basis? The Ministry of Education, what is the output? The Ministry of Lands, what is the output? Do you understand?
Yeah.
The Ministry of Agriculture, what is the output? What is the result that is expected from these ministries? There isn't much. There isn't much. So the expectation has really dropped. Regardless of what happens, nobody is held responsible for anything. So these governors see themselves, or these leaders see themselves as messiahs. They see themselves as doing favor to their people for building roads, for managing their resources, for managing our resources, for providing light. They see it as doing a favor to us, but they're not doing us a favor. They're not doing us a favor. It's because the whole thing has been skewed. And because of vested interest. So when they get the money, rather than use the money for development, say you get 5 billion, 3 billion will go to vested interest. The people cannot do anything. The people can't complain. But what can the people do? People cannot do anything because the vested interest will protect you. Don't forget that politics is very regulated. It's well regulated. If you want to run for office now, if you go to a particular local government, if you go to Just Not, there's one person you just need to go and talk to in Just Not to get all the votes from Just Not. One person is in charge of that vote, of the votes in Just Not. So what you need to do is to appease those people. It is not about the voters themselves. Remember I said it, the people lack imagination. So it is what this one person, it is who this one person tell them to vote for that they vote for.
Based on recommendation of that person.
So this kingmaker will come and say, all of us, we are voting for this person. Then everybody votes for this person. I'm voting for this person. I'm giving all of you 5,000 naira. So everybody goes and vote for that person. It's in our politics. It's out there. It's in the public. Well documented. Well documented. Party, what do you call them? Party agents, not the agents. The people that will elect you there's a name they call them. You have to give them motorcycle, you have to give them cars, you have to give them things before they give you that party vote, that nomination in the party to say you are the one to represent us. We saw that at the presidential level, people were receiving thousands of dollars to endorse a particular candidate.
Well, okay. It's been a very, very interesting conversation. Talking about this whole thing from the start, and it was nice having this conversation. It was nice talking to you and getting your point of view concerning how our leadership, where we are, and how it is going to be for us moving forward based on this narrative and the roadmap in which we've taken. And I really appreciate you for taking our time, to come out to have this conversation with us. And it's so unfortunate, but we have to draw the curtain right here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming over. Thank you for doing this with us. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for being a part of the Gist on Glasses podcast. And everybody at home, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. We promise that the next episode is going to be as impactful as this one. It's going to be educative and it's going to be fun rather. So thank you for tuning in. See you some other time. Have a good one.
Thank you.